Good evening and welcome to the PSGL round 6 of the PlayStation F5 series. Takes us to the streets of Baku. I'm Tom Kent in the commentary position, and alongside me is Logan, who's ready to go for another compelling race tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. I am currently having my dinner now. It is well done Baku, served with... No, I'm just kidding. You just heard, it is the Baku City Circuit tonight, one of the toughest circuits on the calendar. Round 6 of 11 here in Season 33 of PSGL, where VIR Skyline leads by 6 points, but Chris Hallett is just behind with 2 wins under his belt, the only 2-time winner of the season, and he didn't even show up in one of the races, funnily enough. So he's hoping to close the gap here tonight. If he wins and gets the fastest lap and Skyline doesn't finish second, he'll have the championship lead. Yannick Day's down there in third with 37, also with a winter's name, and Azim's in fourth with 3 podiums and 2 non-points finishes in 32. By the way, Skyline's total is 54 and Chris Hallett's 48. And McLaren have a 7-point lead over Red Bull in the top of the constructors' standings. So here we go. A very short grid tonight. We only see 15 drivers. I'm going to let Tom go over the list of absences as I just get myself set up here. So all you go.
So the drivers who are missing for tonight, Leia isn't around, neither is Roger, Miguel, Kuhlman, Medsport, Cherno and Riley. 7 full-time drivers not around for a mixture of reasons. Some of it is personal, some of it's due to work, others which I won't mention too much about, but they are not around this evening. So Azim, who is reserve driver, has been called in, well, 1 of 3 actually, because the other reserve driver isn't available, but Azim, with it being a reserve driver, has been around for every race. So he could all of a sudden throw himself in championship contention should he continue his run of form this evening. With it being Baku, 6 kilometers long, this is the 6th round of the championship. It's the halfway point in the season now. 5 to go after this one. And in terms of which venues the PSGL will be racing at between now and the end of season 33, we'll be going to China, then to Mexico, Hungary, Saudi Arabia, and then the season finale will be at Interlagos, Brazil, which will be the last round on F122 for the PSGL before we switch over to F123 in the summer.
Which I hope is a better game than this game. I know I'm tumbling over my words. I think you know what it is. But as we see, we have Demangle. Is this just a trend, or as I always see Demangle always come out first on the track? I think he likes being the early bird. We've also got Kyle Sarrett here, Alex the G on a lap as well. Kyle Sarrett making his return after actually no, he wasn't making his return, but he's only managed to have 1 points finish this season. That was in France. He finished in 5th. Nicholas Boita is still waiting in the pits. Yannick is removed the DAE at his end, so he's just Yannick now. Also in the VIR team. He is 3rd in the championship, so you've got... he's VIR now, he's not FVR. I didn't realise he was FVR, but now I do. And the Aston Martin, of course, making his way around. You can see he going around to turn number 8, and turn number 9, turn number 10, and turn number 11, all in one swoop. It is a devilish corner. The I am stupid Charles Leclerc corner, as I like to call it, sadly. But it will be Demangle who's going to lead us on the lap. And Tom, you can take the reins from here.
Okay, so we go on board with Demangle as he will be the first driver to start the lap, providing he can keep his car within track limits for the first corner. It's very easy to get track limits breached around here. So into turn 1, 4th gear, 100 and... run about 150 kilometers an hour as he brakes for turn 1, then to the 90-degree turn of turn 2, DRS opening on the exit. We get the time shot that we can see how he's getting on in terms of his speeds and the gears he's using. So into turn 3, he's down to 4th gear again, 100 kilometers an hour. It's a slower corner than the previous 2. Then position the car on the outside for turn number 4, and then sweetly on the power on the exit, and then position car to the right for the chicane of 5 and 6, and then straighten the car up, not being too greedy on the throttle again, and turn 7 awaits you. And he's exceeded track limits, unfortunately, so the lap is pretty much meaningless. So we'll go to Skyline perhaps next, because he's going through turn number 3.
4.
So now this is turn
Now it's
4.
4.
So on the exit, how will he tackle turns 5 and 6 going through here? Well, he's gone through there. A similar fashion how Demangle did. But this is turn 7 he's going through now. Can he keep his car within the track limits? He can. So at least he's on course to complete this lap through the castle section of turns 8, 9 and 10. Through 11 and 12, no problem. And then we've got the kinks of 13, 14 and 15. And now this, I think this is turn 15 actually. The left hand has gone through now. And turn 16 is a faster left-hander, 120 km an hour in 4th gear. There's so many 4th gear corners around this Baku City circuit, that's how fast it is. Alex goes to the top, but we'll stay with Skyline as he goes through the remaining sector. He's going through the final corner that is classed as a corner, turn 20, DRS open, and he'll sprint to the line and he'll go to the top of the timing pages with 139.1.
Fantastic showing, a fantastic first impression from the championship leader by 6. VRR Skyline goes to the top by a quarter of a second as many drivers keep going around the lap. We've got Epilota coming through turn 7, quite an easy turn to mess around with if you cut the corner too much. Oh no! He's crashed in turn 8! He is stupid! Okay, it's not stupid, it's just a very unfortunate crash, and that is the end of Epilota's time in this session. What a curse that is. I went on board with him and he crashes into turn 8. That is a real shame for Epilota. A really tough corner it is, it always has been, and poor Boiter has to try and avoid it, and he does, thankfully. But that is a real shame for Epilota. His teammate is on his own, and in fact has went to the top of the timing sheets by a 10th, Tom.
He has, and Epilota is one of only 3 drivers within the F5 division to have raced here before in the PSGL. He's finished 9th in F8 back in season 29. This is only the 4th time in the last 10 seasons, or the 3rd time in the last 9 seasons, that the PSGL is racing in Baku. As Demangle approaches the start-finish line, I think he's going into the pits actually, this Demangle, so we'll come away from him. Boiter is coming to the line now. Where will this put him as he crosses over the line? He goes 10th fastest. So there's work to do from him. Yeah, so I think he had to take evasive action to avoid Epilota's crashed McLaren. So Epilota will be starting from the back, but at least there won't be as many cars ahead of him as there have been in previous rounds. Lakitu, who'll be hoping to go better than his previous 3 attempts. He's the most experienced driver out of all the field, but he has finished 10th on a couple of occasions in the past in the PSGL. Finished 10th in F5 in season 29 and 10th in F3 in season 28. How will he fare here? Well, he's going through turn 19 now. He'll be ideally want to be going for 139, but given his pace in comparison to the others, I'm not sure if he's going to achieve that, but let's see how he does. Now, I think it's looking at a 1 minute 40 here, to be honest with you. It's a 1 minute 40.8.
The worst time. Yeah, he hit the wall a couple times. He hit it at turn 8, luckily got through, and he also, I think I see his, is that his red tools marker on the dashboard, and I think that, does that mean that he has damage? Because it looked like he may have suffered minimal damage that may have affected his time on those accounts that he hit the wall. So it's quite unfortunate for Lakitu, but that's a sign he has to do better to himself. As we, majority of the cars in the pits, Demangles is just out there right now, about to set another one. A lot of drivers on the in-lap. Edrex is coming to the pits with no fuel in the tank, as I see 0.0 on his dashboard. He comes in and into the pits, so it looks like no drivers are on a lap as I speak.
Wrangle's back out on circuit on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, so he will be the first driver to cross over line to start a lap. We've got him in our picture. as he's going through the it's the second sector of the lap. It's a very fast section of Baku. This is turn 15 he's going through now. It's very easy to get wrong. We've seen many drivers get it wrong here in the past. And Angle on his outlet sensibly takes it easy. He knows he's got track position. Only 6 cars out on circuit as we speak. We'll make that 7 because we've got the Red Bull of Skyline heading out on track now, as well as the Aston Martin of Yannick, hoping to continue his run of form. Demangle, he will need an improvement here in Baku because he has struggled in the last week in Bahrain. He was towards the back really throughout it all, and now this is very much payback time for him in Baku here. Coming towards turn 3 now is Demangle, and he'll be looking to just keep his car within the track limits this time. Unlike the previous attempt, it was turn 7 where he breached track limits. Hoping to just keep the car on the track and not do it again here.
Here he comes to turn number 7. Can he make it this time? The answer is yes, just. He has redeemed himself from the previous time, but what about turn 8? Nicely done, through 9, 10 and 11 nice and quickly. Number 12 hits the curb a bit and just on the edge, that's nicely fine enough. It's coming through to 13, 14 and then number 15. This has caught a lot of drivers out over the years, but not today for Demango. He just glides just near to the wall. Into 16 now, down to 4th gear, 116 kph. I make that on my speedometer. Now through to the final few corners and in a 2-kilometer long straight. It feels like it goes on for days, and that's because it does. Coming through the final corner, past the long grandstands that you have to pay tons of money for, not just to the ticket, but also airfare and accommodation as well. Here it comes to the line. It's 1:39.15. He is second on the leaderboard.
A very, very competitive lap time that from Hallett, and Toby's crashed out on circuit. Unfortunately, he's done exactly the same as what El Paleto has done. So he's crashed at the castle section, and he's pointing the wrong way. So he's carried too much speed into the section there, and he's paid the price for it. So Toby has got a lap time on the board in 9th place, but he may not stay there by the end of the session. We've got 7 minutes to go. Yannick is yet to get a lap on the board, and Boyalulu has also yet to get a lap on the board. We know that El Paleto won't, but we've seen Azim, who's just moved up the leaderboard there. I think it was Alex, wasn't it, who has gone up to 5th place. That was a respectable time from him. He's quite some way away from his teammate.
Yeah, I've got Leon coming through the final corner and nearly hits the wall. You tend to nearly hit the wall on a handful of occasions on this track. It's very scary. It's one of the scariest tracks on planet Earth, and it's just showing here. We've lost 2 drivers already. Drivers have had their lap invalidated as Leon goes 5th on the timing sheets, about 5.5 tenths behind Chris Hallett. But yeah, this is one of the, it has to be probably the toughest circuit on the calendar. No holds barred street circuit. You can't beat it. And now Yannick's going to come to the line. This is a fast lap. It's fast enough for provisional pole position. Does it by 34 thousandths, Tom.
He did it absolutely brilliantly. He managed to find time in the last sector. He's beaten Hallett by 1/4 of a tenth. So that's the difference, really.
Oh,
so
but he's much faster. Sorry, Tom, he's much faster, Chris Hallett. He's 3 tenths faster at Sector 2 than he was last time. This could be a 1:38.
It really could, and he's about to approach the line now. DRS is open on the McLaren, and is this going to put him back onto provisional pole by a country mile, 1:38.6.
Beautiful.
Now that will send a message to the rest of the field. Can they catch Chris Hallett right now? He'll be looking to reduce the arrears in the championship between him and Skyline, if not take the lead in the championship battle. As Logan rightly mentioned, for him to take the lead in the championship, he would need to win and get fastest lap, and for Skyline to be 3rd or lower by the end of this race. But Skyline is out on circuit. He's not on a faster lap than before, so he won't be going to the top. I'd imagine he'll just go straight into the pit lane at the end of the lap to get a final set of soft tyres put on for one final run. As Leon comes back to the pits, is anyone else on a lap? I think Lakito's come around to complete the lap he's on, actually, and it is a massive improvement, and he goes up to 6th place. He's managed to find over a second. So Lakito finding a bag full of time. That must mean that the track conditions are improving, as we've just seen that Boy Lulu's just gone. He's had a moment somewhere on his in lap, presumably. So that'll be him off into the pit lane. So Toby's down to 13th place now. So that is where he'll end up unless Yanetsky improves as he's out on circuit.
Yanetsky's still not got a time on the board. Is the only driver left in the running that is still not set a time, and he's coming around towards the final few turns to start his first lap. Hopefully, as we come around to turn 16, should put the pedal to the metal. And here he comes around turn 17 and 18. Got to be careful. Actually, it's turn 19. Actually, sorry, and through to the long, seemingly illegal 2 kilometer straight, because actually the maximum straight an FIA grade 1 track can be is 2 kilometers. Fun fact. I think that's what the Vegas one's going to be, is it, Tom? It must be, surely.
Well, I think it's somewhere around that, but I think what takes it away is the fact that it's a straight that's not, because you've got the Kings on that straight that sort of takes it away, doesn't it? So but yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it is something like that, where it's a maximum of 2 kilometers that a straight can be for an FIA homologated FIA grade 1 circuit, really. But it is what it is. Otherwise, they wouldn't have allowed the circuit to go ahead anyway. And they certainly wouldn't do it for like the Le Mans circuit, because it would take so much strain on the engines.
Danger.
Yeah. Well, Yanetsky's on a lap now with less than 3 minutes to go, so he'll be the first driver to complete his final run. So as he's going through turn 8 now, oh, he clipped the wall as he went through turn 8 there. It was only a little touch. That could have ended up in a similar way to how it ended up for Toby and for El Pelota. It's coming towards turn 15 now, on the brakes in a straight line. Neatly done. How is he getting on by sector 2 here? Well, it's 1 minute 15.1 throughout the lap. And he'll just be hoping to get in the mix here. In terms of being in the top 5, I think will be tough. So if he can get in front of Lakitu, then he's got himself a chance, really, of getting a solid grid position for the race. He's got the DRS open now on the pit straight. Goes over the line. And it's good enough to displace Lakitu. But has he gone too soon on his final run? Well, Kyle Serra is coming round. I think this is to complete his final attempt, unless he's backed off on this lap. See how he's got on by the end of it. And
it's an out lap.
Is that
an out lap?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sometimes does that. I don't know why, but everyone's on their outlap now, except for Toby and Epilota, obviously in the pits. I think they will make it round by the time the checker flag falls, but they've got to be pretty quick. And I believe the first one to do so is Kyle Sarah, as mentioned, and then it's Skyline. Of course, Yanetsky's already went, and I don't think he'll be going again. Kyle Sarah coming through turn number 4, and it'll be the swift chicane of 5 and 6. Lots of right angle turns to start off with. So we have a yellow flag, please ignore that. It's usually the case is that they're just going very slow, of course, just to warm the tyres up, etc. Kyle Sarah at turn number 7, nicely cleanly through. Turn number 8 is next. Doesn't hit the wall, nicely through the castle. Actually, I went to a castle last week. I went to Edinburgh Castle. But personal notes aside, he's coming through. 30 seconds to go, by the way. High speed coming through to turn number 15. Oh, and I think we have a car stopped on track. It's
Yanetsky.
Yeah, Yanetsky. Well, he's already set a lap, so nothing really phases anyone there. And Kyle is going to set his last time It will be his last time. He's not going to get there in 10 seconds. Everyone's crossed the line in time, and there's another car off. Is that Edrix? Edrix has slowed down. Edrix is not. He's not set a lap, has he? The clock hits 0, and Kyle Sarrett is coming to the line, and he nearly crosses the line. And it's a 1:39.341, putting him up to 7th. How are the others doing?
Well, Skyline is the next driver coming through now, currently in P5. He's got a long way to catch up to Hallett. Well, I think the target now for Skyline is just to get his Red Bull onto the front row, and Yanetsky has retired in the pits. Just ignore that for now. But Skyline is coming through now for his last attempt. Will he move up the order?
No.
Well, yes, he does. Goes up to 4th place, so not on the front row for Skyline. Yannick, P2, improves, but no pole position for him. We've got the Demangle going 3rd now. He improved a little bit. So Azim is down to 4th place.
He's slower though.
So in sector 2, but only by a little.
Oh.
So he could maybe, if he's lucky, find a little bit of time to put himself back up into the top 3. So Azim coming through now for Alfa Romeo. And he goes back up to P3. So he found some time in the last part of the lap. What about Alex? How is he getting on? And he's crashed into the walls. He's gone over the line. We've just seen Boyer go to the top. We've got Hallett, who is on a slower lap than before, but it looks to me like he's done enough to take pole position here. Leon is on a slow lap. Edrix is on a slow lap. And Nikita's coming to the pits. So that's your qualifying session then. Chris Hallett on pole position for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in F5 in the PSGL. And he'll be very satisfied with that. Less than half a tenth clear over 2nd place Yannick, with Azim and Demangle running up the 2nd row. Skyline only 5th, but at least he's not at the back, unlike El Pelota.
Oh dear. It's a big crash involving Kyle Sarrett's AI. Hope he didn't get penalised for it. Probably not. It is an AI, and it's probably just pre-programmed in. But yeah, Chris Hallett and Paul, he didn't even need to set a lap. His time was too good. Yannick came closest, but it wasn't close enough. So it's Chris Hallett with a crucial pole position. If it stays this way, then he'll take the championship. But there's a long way to go. I believe we're doing 26 or 27 laps? 26, isn't it? 26 laps of the Baku City Circuit. Big gaps, and it just shows this track separates the men from the boys. Only 5 drivers were or 4 other drivers, I should say, were within half a tenth of Chris Hallett's pole time. So it just shows that you need a lot of practice and a lot of perfection, and it looks like Chris Hallett had that today. Yannick just a close 2nd, but should be a very decent start for him in the race. Skyline, a lot of work to do, down in 5th, which, if you take the points into account, is a 10-point deficit from 1st. 16 for the win, 6 for 5th.
So rundown on the order for the grid. Hallett is on pole with Yannick alongside him. It's Azim and Demangle on the 2nd row. Skyline and Yanetsky are on row 3, followed by Kyle and Nikita in 7th and 8th. Boyer and Edrix round out the top 10. Then we've got Leon in 11th. He's got a lot of work to do from there alongside Alex. Then we've got Nicholas Boyter in 13th position ahead of Toby. And El Pelota, who didn't set a time as he crashed out early on in the session. It's no formation lap. So it's a chance to mention the title sponsor for the PSGL, that is GT Omega. You can use PSGL at the checkout for 5% off on any GT Omega products. There's also the links in terms of the social media platforms of the PSGL for you to follow and get involved on the Discord server in particular. And of course, there's all the other PlayStation tiers within the PSGL that are contesting tonight. We are ready to go then for the 26th lap Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Who will come away with the spoils here? The 5 red lights come on. When they go out, we'll be racing in Baku. It's lights out, and away we go. Hallett reacts well. Yannick also, but watch out for Demango, who's coming through on the inside. How will that pan out? Demango has spun, and there's a tangle. Skyline's taken out as well. Carnage! No. Absolute carnage at turn 1. Would you believe it? Oh my goodness me. Hallett stays out of trouble though with Yannick in 2nd place. It's Azim and Lakitu up in 4th position in the Williams, followed by Yanitsky and Leon. It's Toby, Boyter, Elblater and Boyer in the top 10 so far. Disaster for Skyline and Demangol.
Leon's done a Lewis Hamilton. He's overshot turn number 3, and he's in a McLaren. How ironic is that? But it is Chris Hallett, Yannick, Azam, Lakitu. How are you in 4th, buddy? Toby, how are you in 8th? Epiloter, how are you in 7th? Sorry, 6th and 7th. They both made up 8 positions. 8! 8 in the start. Can you believe it? Chris Harrett leads them into turn number 8, and here we go. We're going to watch everyone come through turn number 8. They're all through nice and clean through so far, but here they come. This will be a struggle for all the other drivers involved in a crash earlier. I don't think anyone has got through there with a hitch, so nice and clean through turn number 8. They've learned a lesson from lap number 1. Somehow, no retirements from the race. But do we have any damage, Tom?
Well, there's definitely debris on the at turn 1. I think Skyline has lost part of his front wing. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Skyline has got damage as well. He may have side pod damage or something, which will compromise his performance. But Hallett is in the lead with Yannick in 2nd place. That's very much changing the picture for the championship potentially, because with Skyline out of the points, Hallett in the race lead, he would take the lead in the championship race after this one, would Chris? There's a long way to go yet, but let's see what's happened. Let's see what's happening here. Although Skyline has decided to stay out for now, which is not going to benefit him in the corners, but on the straight, with there being less downforce on his car, that might give him an advantage. So if he can just stay within this DRS train he's with, then he won't need to make an extra pit stop.
I think what Skyline's trying to hold out for is a safety car. He doesn't want to have to make an extra pit stop. I think he's just holding out for a safety car because he knows this is a safety car magnet track. We're all surprised there wasn't a safety car with all the damage on lap 1. As I see Chris Hallett coming through to turn number 8. So we're still under green flags for now as the top drivers come through the devilish turn 8. And it doesn't look like anyone is going to mess around with turn 8 today, as they're all coming through. I'm going to be watching turn 8 like a hawk today, just to let you know, Tom. It's one of my favourite corners, and I always curious if someone's going to make a mistake there. Well, that's what I've been doing today. So Chris still in the lead ahead of Yannick. Skyline needs to have a miracle happen. It's not looking good for him.
Well, Adjok's just made a move on Boyter for 8th position, coming out of turn 15. So he's making up ground. The only drivers started on the mediums are Lakitu and Toby, hence why they've moved up the order so drastically. All the others are on hard. So Lakitu within DRS range of Azim, who will not have DRS. So that might give Lakitu an opportunity to close in a little bit. But they're coming to the beginning of lap 3 now. DRS is enabled. And how will Lakitu play out this one? He's in a very, very competitive position right now, but where will he stay there by the end of it? He hasn't been up this high for a very, very long time in the PSGL.
He hasn't, and you know, it would be some insane limbs if he were to finish this high up tonight. You know, we call him the elder statesman. He's been around, he was in the top division for a while before PC came around, of course, on this platform. Yeah, he's been there for a long time. He's been a fan favourite despite the lack of decent performances, no offence to him. But yeah, it's always great to see the elder statesman and the fan favourites do very well in these competitions. And now he's battling for the podium spots. But remember, he does have a drawback, and that is pitting much earlier than all the others. So does his teammate. The Williams master plan: just start on what they're not starting on, as Leon and Nicholas Boyter. Nicholas Boyter's lost a few positions. I think he's had an incident in turn 8, as 3 other cars have just gone past him. That's Skyland Demangol as well as Leon. It's not looking good for the lone Haas driver of the night.
Keitso coming round turns 18 and 19. He's within DRS range of Azim. How will he go about getting past him here? He'll have the DRS open on the pit straight. It's a very long pit straight. He'll get into the slipstream. Will Azim fight it out? I don't think he will. Lakitu to the inside. And is this him up into the podium places? It sure is.
It is!
However,
Woohoo!
Azim will have the DRS on the exit of turn 2. But if Lakitu can get a good exit coming out of turn 2, considering that he's on the faster tyres at this stage, he might just be able to pull away as Boyter comes into the pits.
Boyter into the pits with damage on his car after an incident at turn 8. So he'll have to get that repaired. He's now down in last as Edrex makes a move into 7th place on Toby. Edrex has had a good start so far, and Skyline is down another position. He's now back down at 14th. He's just lost position at Karasat. I suggest he's still got damage there. It's lingering around. I think he may have to make the dreaded extra pit stop if there need be, as Yunetsky's joined to the battle for the podium. Azim ahead of him. Of course, Lakitu in third for now, but you got to take into account oh no, he spun it! Oh no, and he's lost his front wing. I don't believe it, Tom. The worst thing has come to light.
All that effort gone to waste for Lakitu, and the walls of Baku have caught him out, and he'll be in the pits at the end of the start because he damaged his front wing by hitting the barrier. Oh, that's a huge shame for Lakitu. At least he can go onto the hard tyres now and not needing to pit again. But that is well, I'm not saying he's out of the frame for the points yet because of how many cars we've got in this race. But it certainly hasn't helped it. And Boyter's in the wall now as well.
Yeah,
and we've got a safety car.
Safety car. So obviously don't want to have. Well, this is good for Skyline and Lakitu who've lost their wings, and so is Boyter. Well, Boyter's already lost his wing. That caused the safety car. They realised, alright, that's enough damage. We're bringing out the safety car. I think it came out 4 laps too late, but it's not my call. That's my opinion. As a lot of drivers coming in, we've got Toby, Lakitu. Hopefully this isn't a double stack. I think it. No, it's not. Is it? No, it's not. Oh no, it is. I think it might be 2 seconds delay. Yeah, Lakitu's might be falling down the order here. No, Kyle Sarrett and Skyline are in. Boyter's definitely coming in, obviously. He's got damage. So it'll be Chris Hallett leads Yannick Azim. Donetsky, who was denied a chance to get past Azim with the safety car coming in just as he was trying to make the move. We're going to have pretty much a reset here. And Skyline is suddenly going to be back in this somehow. He's got new tyres, but they won't make it to the end of the race. He's put mediums on. He's only got 1 set of hard tyres on, so he'll have to go back to them. I think he's hoping there's another safety car. In some races here, we have had 4, even 5 safety cars in Baku. It can happen, and it can produce chaotic races, as we've said. And you never know, tonight it could be the same thing.
Well, the drivers have yet to catch up to the safety car yet, so they may decide to pit in at the end of this lap to move on to probably the medium tyres. I think if you do that, another option that could be handed to you is to go onto the soft compound for the last 5 or 6 laps of the race, depending on whether we get another safety car or not. So that might be another strategy to bear in mind. If you're Chris Hallett in the race lead, you'll probably want to stay out there and keep track position. Yannick does the same, but you've got the likes of Azim and Elploter coming in, so they are changing tack.
Yeah, but Azim, I think, cut the line as he went in, so he might be getting a penalty. I've just saw him have 2 wheels over the entry line. You have to have all 4 wheels. 2 can touch, but they can't go over the line. If they go over the line, then that's a penalty. I think he's went over the line. I'm sure that's the rule on pit entries with a designated white line entry and exit. Just the rules apply the same at the entry as does the exit. So I hate to say it, I'm not fancying Azim's chances right now, considering that it may be investigated if we catch it.
Didn't quite pick it up on my angle, but it's good of you to mention that anyway. But we'll leave that for the stewards after, in case there is an inquiry required for that. So Hallett is in the lead then. He's not pitted. Everyone but the top 5 has pitted. They've gone on to 2 different compounds now, or they've used 2 different compounds, because the only drivers that started the race on the mediums were the 2 Williams of Toby and Lakitu. So they're both on the hard compound. So Hallett, Yannick, Yanetsky, Edrix and Boyer will have to pit at some point. Now, can they stretch out the hard tyres long enough? They can, but it's about getting the benefit of the mediums and actually getting or keeping hold of track position for when they do come in for their stops to stay ahead of the likes of El Pelota. You could say now El Pelota is in the box seat to win this race potentially.
You could, considering he's on mediums, and I'm sure you get 2 sets of mediums, and he can because he's already used the hards. So this could be quite an interesting race as it pans out when we get towards the end. Of course, there's 20 laps to go when we get started. We are going to be doing another lap. Boyter's yet to catch up. Is he? No, he's not. I thought he had damage again, but no, it's not. It's just me. So Chris Hallett leads. He's decided to stay out. The top 5 decided to stay out. So it'll be quite interesting to see how they fare when they come to the restart. All 5 are staying out by the looks of it. I think they are hoping that... Oh, hold on. What's going on here? Toby's pit again.
Yeah.
Toby's pit again. I'm not sure what's happening. Is he trying the loophole?
Well, he's trying to go back onto the medium, so he's got more grip for when he comes in. So he is going on to... Yeah,
he's on last.
So he's going back onto... He's on a new set of mediums now. So Toby can actually go to the end of the race on those mediums without needing to pit again.
Excellent. That's why the safety car can help you sometimes. It is quite an unusual rule. I wonder if they will close the loophole at any time, but you never know. We'll have to see how that pans out. We'll see if either FIA or PSGL take a stance on it. We'll give you word if they do over the coming months. So we are going to be restarting by the looks of it. We usually restart when all the field gets up close to each other. See, that's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to wait for them to come back round. Unlike a certain situation we shall not mention, but I think we've hinted it to it enough. But yes, Chris Hallett will lead them away ahead of Yannick and Yanetsky. I think, yeah, Yanetsky, Edrix, Boyer, Lulu, all on the hards, and all the others behind him bar Lakitu on mediums. Lakitu, of course, already had medium tyres on. It looks like he's going to try and get these to the end of the race. If he's lucky, he may pull it off. So here we go. We're going to get the restart on, and I'm sure the safety car is going to pull in. I see the safety car starting to pull away as light's still not off it. Yeah, they're off now. Coming around. Usually it's sector 3. It goes off, and Chris Hallett immediately slowing down. It is a long straight, so you know I'm not surprised, because if you pop at the wrong time, it can cost you a lot, especially with this being the longest straight or pseudo straight on the calendar, because there's a lot of corners as well. And look how impatient Yannick's getting, Tommy. He's raring to go.
He is, and Yannick is just waiting for the best moment possible. Well, Hallett will just be preempting when Yannick may end up getting caught napping a little bit. Yannick will be all too
He's
worried
off.
of it. Yeah, he's gone. And he's got Yannick
brilliant.
napping. So that's
and
the
it looks like, yeah, it looks like Boyer Lulu is under threat as well. Epilota's just right there, and he goes into the inside and takes 5th position. The tyre deficit starting to show. Oh no, Azam nearly loses it. He saves it. Good job for him. He's actually ghosted as he battles Alex the G, but stays in 7th place. And Yanetsky and Edrix doing battle. The 2 Ferraris. The Ferrari master plan is on, it seems like. Yannick's starting to catch up, and he nearly gets hit by Edrix into turn number 3 as Alex G and Leon do battle. Going through now to turn number 4. Chris Hallett still has a free 10th lead ahead of Yannick, Edrix and Yanetsky. Azam right behind his teammate. We've got a couple of teammate battles here, Tom.
Do, and they're not fighting it out too much, I don't think, at this stage. The field is too closely together, so Ferraris won't want to be tripping over each other at this point. They both still need to pit, so they need to play the team game here and decide what is happening in terms of their strategy. So he goes up to 13th out of Kyle. So yeah, the Ferraris need to decide what they're going to do at this point. Edrix needs to stay in touch with Yannick so that he's not holding his teammate up when it comes to doing the DRS.
should mention the position changes. Only the top 2 have remained in the same spot that they started in. Quite crazy, isn't it? Only the top 2 are in the same position. By the way, Chris Hallett has a 1.2 second lead. 1.2 seconds as Epilota bids to make up more ground. Janecki is his next opponent. He has the better tyres, the better pace, but I don't think he's got the better straight line speed, as Edrix now bids for second place over Yannick down the straight, and he's going to have, well, he's not going to have DRS yet. That'll be the next lap, as the 2 Alfa Romeos battle again, and Azam gets back into 6th place. How about the Ferraris? Let's see, I think they're just trying to bid for your old switcheroo. They give each other DRS, and then they chase after the driver in front when the next lap comes around. Of course, they'll have to wait until turn number 3 on the next lap, as now Boyolulu has lost position to Leon and has made an Alfa Romeo sandwich out of it.
So Leon in that Alfa Romeo sandwich is up there in 7th position. In terms of the ERS the drivers have got on board, they're all pretty much similar at the moment, so won't necessarily need to show the telemetry. I'll show it anyway, just to see where they are in terms of their ERS usage. And they've actually Yannick has used a lot of his already, but he's having to use that to defend. And Edric's out!
Oh no, Edrix is out! Edrix is out, and that's a safety car, surely. Edrix has crashed into the wall at turn number 8, and that is the first casualty of the Baku City Circuit tonight. And it's another safety car, and this is a fantastic opportunity for the top the top 3 drivers and Boyolulu to make another stop. Can the mediums get to the end from here, Tom?
Well, the mediums, yeah, I would say the mediums can definitely go to the end. The drivers are usually very good at managing their tyres, like on a circuit like Baku, where tyre, in terms of tyre grip, tyre wear, I should say, isn't really a major issue. As the leaders come into the pit, so Hallett is in, Yannick is in, Janecki likewise. What about the others?
Well, Leon in?
Boyer does not. He stayed out.
What?
Is he trying something different? He perhaps knows
Probably.
that he's... Yeah, I would say he knows that he's probably not going to win this race on the basis if he does the same thing as what Hallett, Yannick and Janecki's done. I think he's going to try something different.
I guess you're right. I'm surprised Epilota pit. Epilota had the advantage over the drivers in front, and he's decided to pit again for new medium. I'm sure he wants to get to the end of the race, but I think he could have made it anyway. He would have had more wear, yes, but I think he would have made it anyway. So, of course, Boyer's not going to make it because he has to pit. I think he's trying to see if there's a lot of safety cars and try and come in for the softs once the last safety car comes out and potentially steal it from everyone else under their noses. But he has to hope that there aren't too many safety cars, so the field will just become congested. Too congested that everyone will pass him when he pits. So Leon is now in the lead of this race, although he did start 11th. Quite crazy. But that's what happens when you have just 15 drivers in the race. Boyolulu has made up 7, Alex has made up 9. So Mango and Skylight. Skyline's back up to 5th, which is good for him, but he has to keep it together. Drivers are all coming together thinking, no, the race starting the next lap, it should be the next lap, safety car comes in, so lap 12 we get underway, 15 laps will be left. No penalties, by the way, I should mention, for any drivers. That's a good sign. People are trying to, well, of course it's very hard to do that here, but at the same time, we've had a lot of pit lane speeding as well, so it's good to see them abide by the rules. You actually do get fined in this league for speeding in the pit lane, you know that? Don't do it, kids.
Leon now, you would have to say he's in prime position to win this race. I mean, he doesn't... I mean, it's going to chop and change during the course of this one. I'm sure of it, because we're going to end up seeing someone make a mistake, the safety car comes out again, and the whole complexion of this Grand Prix drastically changing as we speak. Boyolulu has to pit at some point, but I've got a feeling that because he's on the hard compound tyres, if he can stretch it out as far as he can, he may decide to go onto the soft compound and get the benefit out of that, as opposed to going onto a set of mediums, because he'll have spent so many laps under the safety car on those hard tyres, therefore not wearing them out as much. It could play into his hands later as Nicholas Boyd has gone onto the medium compound. It's an old set of mediums he's gone back onto, and he is just hoping that he does not find himself in the wars again. He's down in last place anyway.
Yeah.
He thought, just going back onto a set of mediums and make it to the end on those anyway.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Yeah, we are going to get underway this lap. I'm sure about it. All the drivers are going to be rallied up, so we'll have 15 laps to go, as we said. But Leon in the driving seat, but he has to get the end of the race on knees, or hope there's a safety car and we can box for softs right near the end. Boyalulu hoping he doesn't have to make any stop before that possible scenario. And so is Lakitu, actually. Lakitu, I'm not sure if he can get in the end on hards. Probably can. I've seen drivers in the past go 21 laps on mediums to the end. So they only had to do softs and mediums. But of course, most of the drivers playing it safe now. The tyres have changed from, is it 13 to 18 inches, I think? The 18-inch rims, which in my opinion look better than the old ones. They look much sleeker. I'm not sure of the covers though, in all honesty. Sorry.
Just browsing through the drivers, Logan, and Alex has the least amount of fuel in his car compared to the others. He's got less than 16 laps of fuel worth on board, which is perfect at this stage now. That's going to give him somewhat of an advantage, really, in terms of trying to pass other drivers. Leon is on a similar one. He's got a couple of tenths of a litre, if you want to put it in those terms. So he's got a relatively light car in comparison to the others. So he's definitely in a good spot. He's yet to score a point so far this season as Leon, and boy, could this well be the opportunity for him to end that drought and get his first points of the campaign here in Baku. We're about to get underway then. We've got 15 laps to go, and I think Leon, yep, he's on a charge, and he's left the field for dead. So Leon Boyer leaving away from Alex as well. Demangle and Skyline going to the outside of Demangle into turn one, and Skyline is ahead of the Alpine, and he's got past. It's a superlative overtake, and Skyline has put himself up into fourth position. Now, what will Alex do? Will he allow his teammate go, or will he fight it out with him?
I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to see how that pans out. Meanwhile, Chris Hallett, he needs to get back up the order too. He had to pit, and he has to get up the order now. He's down in ninth, and he just saw Skyline take a move on Demangle, a crazy move. By the way, he was right side by side with Skyline, with Demangle when he got to the line. So I'm not sure if they will make a ruling on that. Perhaps not. I think maybe it was a case of Demangle made a bad getaway. It might be on him as we come through the next turn, turn number 8. And you know how much I watched this turn. Everyone getting through nice and safely. And Boiter does get through, thank goodness for that. 1.2 seconds to lead to Leon. I should imagine that's because Boyalulu is on a much older set, and a much less grippier set. Alex DeG just hounding him, and so is... Oh, Skyline's nearly hit the wall. I think he did hit the wall and got all out of shape, but it should be okay as Nicholas Boiter has hit the wall again. And I think has had some damage to his wing. No, he hasn't, but he has fallen well down the order. I think he's now 4.5 seconds behind Epilota. But now Alex DeG gets past Boyalulu, as I alluded to earlier. And Boyalulu now looking at the drawback of why he stays out. Losing another position there.
Just over behind, sorry. Oh, he's out! He's in the wall!
Demangle hits the wall.
Yeah, he's hit the wall. He's left debris there at turn 1. Is that going to maybe bring out VSA? I don't think it will do. Toby's got through ahead of Kyle, but that is really, really... Oh, safety car out again. Now, does this change things, or is it as it was before?
I'm not entirely sure. That the field is pretty much... this is an unusual situation for Boyalulu. Will he have to... The mediums can definitely get to the end now. I can say that for certain. But will he do it? It will have to see when he comes around in about a minute's time. Lakitu has already been on mediums. I don't know if he has an extra set. How many sets has he used of the medium, Tom?
Lakitu has used, well, he's used a set of the mediums at the start, didn't he? So
Yes, he did.
so he can
Has
go
he
to
used
the end on the hards if he wanted to. If you buy a Lulu now, do you go on to do you pit in now? I think you may be.
I think we have to.
I think you have to, because otherwise you're going to be too far out of sync after the safety car's gone back in. Unless you get another safety car again, you'd have to gamble to go onto the set of softs. So maybe that's what Boy Lulu is thinking.
Yeah, he's
If
already
he pits in now, he may end up going to the back of the Crocodile anyway. So it may be best for him to just gamble and hope for another safety car to then go onto the soft compound.
I guess so. I should mention, by the way, Lakitu has only pitted once, so of course Boyer Lulu, yeah, if the safety car doesn't come out after this, I think he'll have no chance of winning this. So he does come in now, as we alluded to. And so does Alex the G, which puts Skyline in second place. We have a VIR 1-2, and they're not even in the same team. They're in completely rival teams, and the order starts to shuffle round as Boiter comes into the pits for mediums, which should be his only stop of the race. Alex the G also out there on medium tyres, Lakitu on new mediums, and Kausau on hards. Quite interesting choice. I think he's already used mediums. He has to come out then. And Demangle in last also on the mediums. So we've got 5 on new, 9 on used, and all the used drivers are on mediums. I'm not sure, Kyle being the rogue driver, just going hard. Interesting choice, don't you think, Tom?
Well, Kyle's gone onto the set of hards, hasn't he? I don't know if he was used up on both sets of mediums during the course of this race. I would say that I think there's going to be another safety car before this race is over. I think if there is, then those at the back can, take a punt on the softs. There's no question.
Got it.
Yeah. Even though they may not have burnt as much fuel as the lights have done, still worth a go on the softs, really, to salvage anything from this race.
Well, here we go then. I'm sure we're gonna do another lap, are we? If Demangle doesn't get to the line quickly. I think they might be doing another lap here.
Yeah, well, this is the first lap under the safety car that they're doing, so there will be another lap anyway, even if Demangle does catch up. So it leaves us plenty of time to think about how this race is going to end up going, because Skyline's in second place now, the championship leader. Hallett, his closest rival, in 4th place, is on 5 lap younger mediums to what the Red Bull has.
Yeah. So it's quite an interesting situation here, Skyline as well, we should say then, because of course it is going to be quite the effort that Skyline has to make. I don't think his mediums can get to the end. I think he'll have to gamble, and Toby's coming for a stop. Toby, who's actually a lap younger than Skyline, so this is the right move. He's onto a new set of mediums that should get him to the end. I think Skyline should have done the same thing, in all honesty, but no, he's staying out. He's trying to hold on somehow. Oh dear, that is a horrendous exit for Toby, and he's got a penalty for it. The first penalty of the race. It's quite a rare one, completely exiting the white line. Usually that's, but he completely botched that one. That is on him, and there's no way he's going to be appealing that. That was a dead cert overshoot.
Yep, so he'll have to serve that in his next stop, or that'll be served at the end of the race. He'll be hoping probably for another safety car, which then he'll be allowed to serve that 5 seconds. He's in 12th place now. Boyer did pit in again, and Kyle has gone into the set of mediums, so they're on fresh mediums now, both of those two. And the safety car should be going in at the end of this lap. We'll find out once it goes through the second sector time beam, as the drivers make their way through the castle section. Have 11 laps to go once the safety car does his way into the pits. Hallett is up in third place now, I've just noticed. He's got in front of Yannick, so I don't know if Yannick has made a mistake somewhere. That shouldn't... I don't know where he's done that, Logan. Have you seen where he's done that?
Wait, sorry, who? Sorry, I was a bit distracted.
Sorry, yeah, Chris Hallett in front of Yannick, because he was behind Yannick last lap.
Oh, I didn't see that actually. Safety car in this lap. I'm surprised he's not given the position back. I'm sure he's not allowed to because the game would have said otherwise.
Yeah, so it's okay because Toby was in front of Hallett, so it's not Yannick who was in front of Hallett. It was Toby who was in front of him. So Toby he was down in 12th place now. So I take my word back. Anyway, so the safety car is in this lap. Leon will back the field up. He'll do what he did last time, but he needs to start pulling away at some point. He's got a bit of a gap already, so Skyline needs to be careful not to leave too much of a gap there, because otherwise Leon will bridge clear. And how long will Leon decide to leave it? Will he leave it to the very last moment? On now. Here we go. It's another restart, and it looks like El Piloto's making a move on the Alfa Romeo, further behind, and he's got up into 6th place. And he's got the Ferrari of Yanetsky in front of him now, as they come towards turn 2. The field behaving themselves on the restart.
Whoa!
And that's demangled by the looks of it, and that looks like Alex has come to blows. That is Toby off in the background, and that is his race further compromised. Demangle up the inside of the Red Bull of Alex. They refused to leave each other room, and that was very much Demangle out of the race there. So it was a little bit naughty that from Alex, because he didn't quite leave enough room on the inside going into turn 3. The field making their way through the tight and twisty sections of Baku. Hallett right on Skyline's tail in the battle for P2. This is an important one for the championship. Hallett is on better tyres though, so we could well see him in front at some stage.
Here they come through turn number 8 once again. Looks like no one making a mistake as we speak, and Toby's made another mistake. He's completely missed turn 7. And Leon has a 1 second lead over Skyline. Chris Hallett's right behind Skyline, and this is important for this championship race. He needs to make a move, Chris Hallett, if he has any chance of conserving his lead. Well, if he finishes like this, he'll still be 2 points. It'll still be 4 points ahead, just a net loss of 2. Well, here we come through turn number 17. We'll have 10 laps to go when he cross the line again. No DRS for this and the next lap. So here we come. Will he do it on raw pace? We'll have to see. Don't think he will. I think he's just holding pace for now. Meanwhile, Alex the G has a rare move on Nicholas Boyter, and that'll be for 8th place. And through he goes into 8th. And Boyta will have to try and find a way back past him. Meanwhile, battle behind him as well, Demangle and Boyter himself. Demangle an interested party in this one as well, and he's in 10th. He wants more than 1 point, and I think Toby's just pulling into the pits and calling it. Yeah, he has. That's the end of Toby's race. We're down to 13 here at the Baku City circuit, with Leon in the lead, who's 11 lap old tyres, Skyline in second. We've got to keep watch on Alex the G and Demango especially, because they're on newer tyres than the rest. And also Boyolulu, Lakitu and Kyle chasing Skyline and Leon. Oh my goodness me, they're all so close together now. Skyline, Hallett and Yannick, the top 3 in the championship, all in a battle now.
Yep. Skyline holding up Hallett, and Leon trying to bridge out that gap. He's not out of that DRS boundary at the moment, so he needs to do a little bit more than what he's already doing. He's doing his best, as Skyline is holding up Hallett as well, so they will be in a DRS train very, very shortly. Skyline holding up the pack in the battle for P2. Can Hallett get an exit? He's used up. And Skyline's run wide. Skyline has made a mistake on the exit of turn 16, and that's allowed Hallett through into P2. And now Yannick is looking to get past.
And they're side by side, and it looks like Yannick is through. This is bad news for Skyline. Chris Hallett is now 2 points within Skyline as we speak. And if he loses another position, it'll become 1. And if he loses another, or if Chris Hallett takes the lead, Chris Hallett will have the championship lead. Nicholas Boyter has fallen down to the 13th again. He's done a Lewis Hamilton at turn 1. Now the gap is 1 second between Leon and Chris Hallett. No DRS for Chris Hallett, but there's DS for Yannick and Skyline. And Yanetsky side by side with Skyline heading into the turn, but Skyline gets ahead and stays ahead in 4th place. But he needs to get up the order. His tyres are screaming for grip, and so are Leon's, I assume. He is 8 tenths ahead, trying to keep it together through the corners. His car is geared up for the corners, I can see, much more than the straights. So he is taking advantage as he can. Now through turn number 8, as I've been watching it all day. Can he keep it together? Yes, he can. And all the top runners have. And it looks like it's going to stay that way. Yep, everyone through now. I'm watching Boiter as I speak, Tom. You keep up with the front runners.
Hallett within 6 tenths of Leon. He's going to have DRS on the pit straight, the long 2.2 kilometre straight, with King consisting in that. So Leon holding up the pack in the lead. 7 tenths is the margin. He should do enough, really. We'll have a look on the telemetry to see how much of his ERS he is using. And he's using a lot of it up now as they go onto the pit straight. Hallett is in P2. How is he using his ERS? He's got only about 20% or so left, so he needs to try and get the move done now, really, as he posts a new fastest up of the race. That's important for the championship as well. So Leon stays in front for now, but for how long?
Yeah, he made a defensive move on the inside of Chris Hallett. That's a good tactic from Leon. But will he do the same thing here against Chris Hallett? Will he stick to the inside like he did last time? He's got to be careful not to be accused of moving under braking. He's got to also be careful that Yannick is behind Chris Hallett too, so he might get involved. Is one intense battle here down in Azerbaijan, which is a former member of the Soviet Union, and it's just, this is what we love to see. Close-knit battles, eat your heart out, FIA. Coming through turn number 8, what will happen here? Will anyone get out any slower than the others and lose some time? No, they're keeping it all together. No one making a crucial error, and you don't want to do that here. If you make one false move, as we have said, it's all over. Yannick's right on the back of Chris Hallett. Chris Hallett starting to fall away from Leon. Turn number 15, here we go. And the gap now is starting to close again. No, it starts to go wider again. Leon is liking this now, but will he like it later? Because remember, he's still got to finish this race on these tyres, and if he can't, well, that'll be game over. It'll be Chris's race for the taking. At this rate, Chris is going to take the championship lead if Leon doesn't win this race. Hour on the podium. Here we come through to start the first of the final 7 laps, Tom, and it looks like we've got a lot of moves going on in the back.
Yeah, and Skyline's very much engulfed here because Yanitsky is about to pull off a move. And look at El Plota. Is he going to pull off 2 in 1 go? Very close. He's ahead of Skyline. Is he ahead of the Ferrari of Yanitsky though? He's still going side by side with him on the exit turn 1. Now is the inside line for 2. And he's through up into 4th position. Goes El Plota. Brilliant overtaking from the McLaren pilot. He's put himself up there. It isn't over yet though because Yanitsky has got the DRS behind the McLaren. He's got back through again. Brilliant racing around the streets of Baku. Yanitsky back into 4th place. Skyline down to 6th.
F1 is cancelled. This is the real deal. That's the real F1, not PSGL F1, that is. Jeez, I'm starting to choke. I can't speak. Chris Hallett is 3 tenths within Leon. He can just feel it in his hands. The move, the lead, the trophy. But he still has to hold on, and he's still got to keep a sedate pace if he wants to get that move. And Epiloder starting to try and reel Yanetsky back in. Had a through goes Hamilton moment earlier. Can he do it again with maybe 2? Maybe can Yannick do 1? I'd love to see a double overtake from this gentleman here, who has been putting in performance after performance but hasn't really seen the full payoff. Hopefully he can today. He's got 2 cars ahead of him and he's within 7 tenths of the leader. 7 laps. There will now be 6 when we get to the end of this straight. But Yannick fancies his chances. But so does Chris Hallett. Who is going to come ahead? Chris Hallett has the DRS. He starts to reel Leon in. Leon makes a defensive move, going to the inside. Who will come onto the outside? Chris Hallett goes to the outside. Chris Hallett, and they're almost together. And Yannick's coming behind too. They're going into turn number 2, and Chris Hallett's still on the outside. Yannick sees an opening. Chris Hallett takes the lead, but it's not over. Yannick hits the wall a bit, and there's an incident behind. Skyline falling back. Skyline's falling back, and Leon's still in the lead. Skyline falls down to 12th. What's happened to Skyline?
Didn't quite see the moment, but it's another incident. 4 cars off at turn 3.
What?
Absolute carnage in Baku. And guess what?
Oh, no.
We've got another safety car. And Demangle's out. Demangle's crashed.
Demango's out. He has crashed at. Is that turn 3?
No,
yeah,
he's retired on track. He's retired for the pause
penalty.
menu. Yeah, that's against the rules, I'm afraid. So that'll be a penalty coming.
Sports.
Demangle's
Bad
way.
sport.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I wonder if Demangle's got bodywork damage in all of that, and that looks like a rage quit to me. So Demangle will be having a penalty thrown at him for that. But this is going to give those at the back another opportunity. Now, this is going to be very interesting because Leon is on 15 lap tyres of mediums they are. Those at the back are going to be going straight onto the softs. That's absolutely certain that that's going to be the case.
Yeah. Absolutely certain that's going to be the case. And this race turns on its head again. Oh my word.
Well, if you're Skyline, you've got another shot at it. And the thing is, if you're Chris Hallett, you're going to have to stay out there because you're going to end up falling too far back, aren't you? So there'll be 2 laps under the safety car at least. Oh, in fact, they're pitting. Now, is anyone taking a gamble? Well, El Ploter's taking the gamble. So El Ploter feels that it's worth taking the gamble. And he's going into the lead in second place. Who's going to be in second place? It's going to be Alex. So Alex is in second place now. And Skyline, well, he's definitely going to be pitting. So Boyce will be coming in. So well, in fact, Skyline stayed out. Skyline has stayed out.
Oh no!
He's in front of Leon, but he stayed out on his 17-lap-old mediums. I cannot believe he's not come in. He was at the back, but he has not come in for a set of soft compounds. I can't believe he's actually not done that, you know. I really can't believe. Unless he's maybe trying to do 1 lap less on the soft compound before he actually decides to pit in. Maybe that's what is running through his mind right now.
Yeah, see, I don't like safety car coming in and then 2 laps to go in general watching Formula 1 because it just ruins the big lead that the leader had, and we saw that happen many times before. But if it's always been this close, then I don't care what happens from this point forward. They're already together racing each other. This has always been the case when there's a safety car. And this has just turned the race on its head and have everyone scratching their heads. Skyline is in 3rd and is on the oldest tyres imaginable, 17-lap old mediums. He's got his teammate ahead of him on fresher tyres. Heck, even a fresh hard tyre would be better than this. And El Piloter, I've said El Piloter, but I've never pronounced the L. El Pilotor. It's Spanish. He, remind you, started 15th. He crashed in qualifying at turn 8, and he has redeemed himself and now in the lead. But can he hold it together? That is the question. When we get around one more time, we will have 3 laps to determine tonight's winner. Just 3 after doing 23. It's been a race of survival. It wasn't Formula 1, it was Drive to Survive. Now it's definitely drive the heck out of your life to take the gold. Whatever that means.
I feel that Skyline's made a huge mistake here, Logan. I really do, because he's on very warm mediums. As Boyaloo is coming in for another set of the soft compound. He's lost 1 position to Nicholas Boyd, but at least that's 1 lap less they'll have to do on that soft compound, so may give him a grip advantage on the restart. Yeah, I just think Skyline has pulled off the wrong move here. I think he knew that Hallett had come in. In fact, I've just noticed that Hallett is on mediums. He's not actually on softs. That's a very interesting one. I'd have
Yeah,
thought
it
it.
is. I mean, to be fair, he knows Sky. He is. I think he's only concerned about his battle with Skyline, the championship. He knows if he finishes ahead, he doesn't want to do anything stupid, and that is. And he doesn't want to get involved with all the cars all the time. He just want to make sure he finishes ahead of Skyline because he has to finish ahead by Skyline by 6 points to take the lead of the championship. Because he will, even if they tie, he'll have it on count back because Hallett would win 2 and Skyline's got 1. So we could have a 5th different winner in 6 races, and it's an already crazy season tonight. It could be Alpolota, it could be Alex G. Heck, it could be Leon. Leon is the front runner of all the soft tyre runners, and I'm sure we're going to have the safety car come in at the end of this lap.
Alpolota could be on course for his first win of the campaign. I'm just trying to remember the last time he's won a race in the PSGL. And just looking at my notes as well as we speak. The last time he's won was in it was last season in Zandvoort in F6. That was his last victory back then. He is a champion in F8 in season 30 as well, including a victory in Jeddah. So he's no stranger to the top step of the rostrum. Can he hold on in these final 3 laps? This is going to be a very intense finale here in Baku. Alpolota.
Where's my defibrillator? Where's my defibrillator? Here we go. Oh, he's got away!
That is an amazing restart. He caught the field napping like anything. That was the perfect restart there for Alpolota, and he's pulling away. What about the battles further behind though? Because we've got Leon on the soft compound making his way through past Skyline, and this should be a change for 3rd place into turn 1. Leon gets through, no problem. And now what about Chris Hallett?
Skyline's went to Chris Hallett! Skyline went into Chris Hallett! I think that was an intentional move. Sorry to put the blame on Skyline's absolutely struggling. He knows he's made the most crucial mistake of his career. He's falling right down the order. He's lost 4 positions in 4
Oh, the crash! Crash!
Oh no! Leon is out! Leon is out! Massive crash! There's not going to be a safety car. There's no more time to get a safety car in. Leon is out! He was leading the race on several occasions tonight. Skyline is all over the place. It's a McLaren 1-2!
It is an Alpolota in the lead, but will it be in that order, or will Alpolota allow his teammate through for the sake of the championship? Skyline is down to 7th place now of that collision with Leon. That is disastrous. And they're going through turn 8 now. No more incidents at the moment, although Alex has dropped back. It's double disaster for Red Bull Racing.
Oh, and Skyline's trying to fend off the drivers Kyle Sauer and Boyle Lulu. Meanwhile, the McLaren drivers are running away with it. But Yannick could be the party pooper for the Orange Army coming through. Well, the other Orange Army, not you, Max Verstappen. Yannick has the prime position, he has the tyres, he has the pace, but does he have the skill, the guts, the glory? Can he come through with he'll have 2 laps to win this race? And so will Yanetsky. Yanetsky, who, by the way, I think we haven't spoken much of this whole season. We have a three-way battle for the lead. Chris Hallett, teammate, gonna go for the lead. Please, oh, here comes Yannick. Yannick going for a move. Yannick, no, he waits his turn. Chris Hallett goes through. Alpolota does the right thing and lets his teammate through. He wants as many points as he can. And now Alpolota's job lies to stop as Skyline's lost up another position and he's fallen right back. And I think he's got a puncture. No, he's not got a puncture. But meanwhile, Yannick chasing after Alpolota. He needs to get past Alpolota, but he's going to be defending him like a lion. And then collide into the turn, but Yannick gets through without a trace. Left through, and Alpolota now needs to try and fend off. He really can't fend him off. Yannick is going to go for everything here. Yannick, can he get past Chris Hallett? This is insane.
He's very much insane. He's going to be right on the tail of Hallett in a moment because he's on the soft compound tyres. Hallett doing his best as Yannick has a slide coming out of turn 7 and he's going to be very much in play for the victory, you'd have thought, in a moment. And now we're watching the Ferrari of Yannick on the tail of Alpolota, who I think is going to be very much a sitting duck. That victory very much falling away from him at this moment in time. And I would have to say, on the exit of turn number 2, on the restart, he got all out of shape, bunched up the pack behind, which then obviously triggered the collision between Leon and Skyline, or Alex as well. So it's been an absolute disaster for Leon. That could have been his first points of the season. That'll have to wait for another
And
week.
win.
Yeah.
Could have been his first win as well. He was the leader of the soft tyre runners. It was a three-way battle for third place. El Piloto still trying to hang on to his podium, but I don't think he's going to get it. Yanetsky coming through. DRS enabled on the last lap. Three-way battle for third place. Azim also getting involved. Yanetsky trying to get through, but El Piloto's having none of it. El Piloto on the inside, defending the position, and Azim's getting involved, and he's pushed him, and he's pushed El Piloto, and Azim's through! How has he done that? El Piloto is down to 6. Yanetsky has, he's nearly hit Lakitu. Lakitu's in this race as well, you know. Lakitu has just been sitting there, and now he's up to 5th, and he could be going for a podium. If the two front drivers mess up, and they're just right next to each other now. And Yanetsky gets desperate to make a move on Azim. Azim doing everything he can, defending like a line, he makes a mistake. Yanetsky has a chance to make a move, and Lakitu's waiting in the wings. But I think Chris Hallett's built a good enough gap to take the win. Chris Hallett's going to take his 3rd win of the season if he can keep it together for one last ride.
An insane race, and there's still more that could change
no.
as the driver's about to go over the line at the end of this lap. It's the final lap of the race. Hallett has built up enough of a margin to hold off Yannick for the race victory, but this is the battle we want to be looking at, but we'll need to go to the leader very, very shortly. Here he is, look. Hallett had everything go his way on the restart, and it's paid dividends for him as far as his championship chance is concerned. He's going down the long pit straight. He knows the checker flag is sight, as is the championship lead. Chris Hallett wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in F5. Yannick comes in second place. Drag race to the line. Yannick takes it from Azim over the line by half a tenth of a second. Azim 4th, Lakitu, he picks up his best result in the PSGL. The last time he finished up that high, you have to go all the way back to F5 in 3rd place in Austria in season 30, 3 seasons ago. Very well done to him.
Wow.
El Plota, Boita, Boyalulu, Kyle and Skyline, the rest of the point scorers, we're just waiting for Alex to cross over the line. But Chris Hallett, for the 3rd time this season, is your race winner in F5.
And there's already a lot of afters in the chat. Lots of expletives here, I can't really mention them. Leon you are a expletive joke to El Piloto. Lakitu is like, WTF. Steve says, you guys are the worst. That's the mango, by the way. Is space that hard to give, guys? Come on, 3 times is too much for me.
We'll leave the comments alone for now, but we just want to watch the podium and go through the race results and reflect on what's been an incredible race. Hallett on the top step. That was very intense of an ending, but I'm sure he'll be over the moon after that race. Well done to Yannick and well done to Yanetsky getting up there in 2nd and 3rd. And Lakitu, wow, what a big haul of points for him.
Can F1 be like this every week, please? Please?
We'll run down on the race.
We don't need to have manipulation drama.
Yeah, we'll run down the race result. Chris Hallett is your race winner ahead of Yannick and Yanitsky in 2nd and 3rd. Azim 4th, continuing his good run of form. Then it's Lakitu 5th, El Plota in 6th place. Then it's Boyta 7th, ahead of Boyalulu, Kyle and Skyline only picking up 1 point. Alex set the fastest up on the final lap. No points for him, unfortunately. Leon is classified in 12th. Demangle, Toby and Edrix did not finish the race, unfortunately. So in terms of the championships, Chris Hallett picking up 16 points to Skyline's 1 means that Hallett's on 64 points, Skyline's on 55. So Hallett has a 9-point lead going into the next round of the championship. With Yannick also finishing 2nd, he moves on to 49 points. He closes in within Skyline in the battle for 2nd place as well. an incredible ending to that.
Nicholas Poiter, by the way, did 5 stops and still finished in 7th for 4 points. So well done to you, Nicholas. Finished in the top half of the grid for the night. That's actually one pretty insane thing to claim. No fastest lap point. It was by Alex G. He finished 11th. So no extra point. And we have 3 wins for Chris Halla over everyone else's 1. He's the first driver to win back-to-back. He has never finished a race outside the top 4. He now has 64 points to Skyline's 55, and Yannick in 3rd with 47. So, I'm sorry. No, sorry, 49. I'm sorry, 49. He got 2nd, not 3rd. Oh, I'm trying to get myself together. That was an insane ending. Yanetsky gets his 3rd podium this season. He's now up to 28 points. Fortunately, he doesn't gain any positions, though, because he was already 11 points off the Mangle, who did not score tonight. Boyle Lulu gets his 1st point of the season. Riley just missed out on his 1st point of the season, of course, will be what we've seen. Joey didn't show up tonight, so now we're talking about him. Lakitu now is up to, get this, 10 points! And that's definitely something to celebrate for Lakitu. And Nicholas Poita is like, we should do a standing start 2-lap race. We've already done that in the real world. Oh, man.
Anyway, we'll leave the comments there, and we'll leave our coverage there. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, Logan, for joining us. One final mention to PSGL's title sponsors, GT Omega. You can use PSGL at the checkout for 5% off any GT Omega products. So, you know, in terms of maybe like a gaming chair like I've got, it's very much worth it. And do make sure you follow the PSGL on their platforms as well, on Twitter, on Instagram. They've also got a website, so you can look and see all the news and all the latest within the league. And there is a Discord of which you can join the server as well and get involved in the conversation. Thank you very much for joining us. Do make sure you like and subscribe as well. Do make sure you click that like button and subscribe, and join the likes of 27,500 subscribers who have been keeping up to date with everything that's happened within the PSGL. We'll do it over again in a week's time. It's in Shanghai in China for round 7, and the championship is very much lighting up now as the season is concluding. I'm Tom Cairns, he's Logan, and we'll speak to you again soon when the PSGL returns.
Where's my defibrillator?